Hi, my name is Molly and this is my story. Growing up, I grew up with a dad that was an alcoholic who was always, cheating on my mom. And during that time at the age of 13, I didn't understand it, and it really was like hard on me. I started kind of getting into fights at school, using drugs, stealing cocaine from my dad, and just getting high at a very young age. During that time, I got sent to a home for a couple of years, came back, and stuff like that still continued to happen. My dad was still drinking. They were just always fighting. My life continued to spiral out of control. At a very young age, probably in junior high and high school, I started selling drugs in my school. So what led me to doing drugs and alcohol was I've always was around it with my dad. Although he thought that he was trying to hide those things from me, at a young age, it was when you see it, kids are not dumb. And I began to wanted to be kind of a part of just hanging out and with older crowd at school, and wanted to be cool because I think it was all coming from the attention that I wasn't getting at home. And I started stealing the cocaine from my dad, taking it to school, giving it to some of the kids at school. Although I wasn't using, it took me about 6 months from that point on to start using, where I was not attending school. I was going to the park, getting high, drinking with people at the park, and it just led from that point to more heavier stuff. At the age of 16, I was snorting heroin. That wasn't my drug of choice. My drug of choice was actually angel dust, and I did that for a long time. During that time, I was just so hooked with it that I really didn't, nothing else mattered at that time. I did that for a good couple of years. And then it kind of led to drinking. And then the drinking became more of my source. I ended up getting pregnant. And when I got pregnant, that was awesome and amazing. I had a severe car accident at the age of 20 years old. So during the time of the car accident, I knew that we were in a car accident. And waking up 2.5 months later, not knowing that my daughter had passed away, I had a trach, so I wasn't able to talk. During that time, I couldn't really cry because I was on so much morphine that numbs your body where you can't even feel. I had to go through physical therapy for about 5 months. And during that time, the only thing I could think of on my mind was to get better so I can go out there and party. My life was not worth living anymore. I went through all of those 6 months just pushing it to do physical therapy, get better. And as soon as I walked out those doors, the doctor told me that it was best that I didn't get pregnant. It was best that, because my body in the inside was internally so damaged, that it was best that I stopped drinking. And I had to be on like high watch and always having all these doctor's appointments. But I didn't care because all I wanted to do was end my life. So that was the time when I tried to take my life 3 times. Realized during that time that I was so desperate that all I wanted just was to fill that emptiness. During that time, I tried to commit suicide 3 times and continued to just kind of self-medicate. It was very hard just with the emptiness that I felt. I was desperate, and my best friend at the time, I convinced him I wanted to have another child to fill everything that I was missing. Through the midst of all of that, I got into that relationship with him that was very toxic and unhealthy. So we went through 17 years of physical abuse, verbal abuse. 17 years into that relationship, I finally decided at the age of 35 that I wanted to change. I had 3 girls that we already brought into this world, and it was tough on them seeing us fight all the time. And at that point, I made a decision if I was gonna stay in that relationship and stay in that type of surroundings for my girls or show them something different. I made a choice to leave and get out of that. It was a hard decision, but I went to drinking really heavily. During that transition, somebody actually invited me to go to church. And when I went to church, it was really hard because that was something I ran from. Because all those years that I was dealing with my pain and my hurt, I blamed God. When I did go for the first time, I struggled with it. I felt like I wasn't really worth going. I did end up going. From that point on, I never looked back. It changed my life. I realized that there was nothing else more that I wanted than the love of God. Now it's following 8 years now, and I've been serving God strong. Took me out of those dark places in my life. It's been changed. My life's been changed, transformed. I've learned how to be a woman of God and how to value myself, how to be a mom and how to love. And now just looking for more greater things and see what God has for me. I'm helping women. I run a women's group. I mentor at least once a month. I do outings with women just kind of to build just their self-esteem, encourage, healthy relationships and building those long relationships and friendships with them. I serve in the house of God. It's literally transformed me. I see it in every area of my life. Being blessed, my job has been amazing. Just being an example to other women in everywhere that I go.
I now have 3 beautiful daughters, a grandson who will be raised in the house of God.
If you find yourself in any one of these situations, don't think that you're alone, because God didn't call us to do life alone. If you find yourself in an abusive relationship, if you find yourself in any type of addiction, there's always someone that's there that can walk beside you.